One Piece Chapter 1175 Nidhogg, or the Thunder Dragon, is about Luffy and Loki's retaliation against Sommers and the God Knights, and their plan to abduct the 10 elbaph kid giants. In the last chapter, we saw the heroic sacrifices made by the parents of these kids, choosing to fall into the underworld with their loved ones, but they were ultimately saved by Luffy and Loki's devil fruit forms. We came to find out that Loki's devil fruit, the one treasured by elbaph and his people, was a giant dragon fruit, and with that, they began their counterattack. This chapter begins with Sanji breaking the thorns trapped in the Straw Hats, and for the first time in a while, Robin is free. But they obviously can't sit there and celebrate because the island is a war zone, and the children are still in danger. And we see Sanji sense the great haki and a loud roar coming from the western village. We see them look far in the distance and witness the shadow of a giant dragon, and wonder what exactly is that. In the western village, we see that Loki has dropped off Ripley, Olmo Road, the other parents, and the abducted kids, and they're severely injured, so they need immediate medical attention. The other giants plead to Loki that the village isn't exactly safe with the dream monsters nearby, but Loki says that is not his problem. He just came to drop them off as they got on his back uninvited. In the next page, we see an epic double spread of Loki's dragon form, and he has a sleep tit, a dream demon, in his mouth, as he tells Luffy to climb down from atop his head. I really like Loki's design here, with the spiky fur in his back, the double horns on his head, the double bracelets on his arms, and of course being enveloped in black helps too. Personally, I already like him more than Kaido, and strength-wise, it's looking spooky in that department too. But I digress. With the reveal of the Thunder Dragon and Nika, Ja Rule announces to the people of Elbaph that the children are safe, to which the Straw Hats breathe a sigh of relief. Luffy notices Zoro down below, and he says hi, but Zoro is like, "You guys sure took your time getting here." And since Luffy has already transformed into his Gear 5 giant form, Zoro tells him that he should take out the nightmare monsters his size, as taking them out will clear out the battlefield and make it easier on Elbaph. I really like this moment between Zoro and Luffy. It's funny how Luffy always looks to Zoro in the battlefield, or anytime he's away from his crew. What I like the most is Oda giving us more moments where Zoro is taking charge, and telling his captain the best approach to take in high-stakes situations like this. Let's not forget that Zoro is the right hand of the crew, and the unofficial vice captain, so it's nice to see him acting like one. Heck, it's nice to see Straw Hats communicating amongst themselves at all. We haven't been getting much of that in the post-time skip One Piece. All of a sudden, thorns start raining down from the sky, and it is from St. Sommers. He yells from above, saying how he won't let any one of them live after they quote-unquote cheated him out of a touching moment. But then he thinks to himself that this may have been for the best, as the giant kids haven't been eliminated, so the God Knight's original plan is still in play. Sommers can still take them back to the Holy Land and salvage his name. But before that, he looks to get back on the parents and decides to take them out as he props up his snake thorns with guns in their mouths. And the kids, seeing this, bravely take a stand for their parents. They say now it's their time to protect their parents. Even with tears running down their faces, they stand face up, head high, which makes Sommers bawl in excitement again. He says their faces are priceless, and at this point he doesn't even care about the mission anymore. Sommers is hyper-focused on his obsession with his twisted sense of love. He says he'll never forget this look on their faces, and tells them to say goodbye, and the thorns come flying out of their mouths, but Zoro is right there to chop it up to pieces. And you see Luffy just laughing, saying, "Way to go, Zoro. I knew you would do that." Zoro then says to Luffy to go now, and Sommers is absolutely appalled to see someone break down his thorns, and says, "Who goes there?" As Luffy's in the air, he grabs a lightning bolt in his hand, and lets Sommers know that that guy who cut down his thorns is Zoro, and he tells him not to forget. He puts on his imaginary scope on his hand, and cocks back his arm, and absolutely smacks Sommers with the Thor rifle. And with this attack, Sommers' grip on the kids with his thorns come loose. Luffy's Gear 5 form is seen by all the giants nearby, and Colin recognizes that form, and so does his mom Ripley. Ripley says she finally got to see his white form, and he looks just like the Nika which she imagined, which confirms to Ripley that Luffy is the warrior of liberation. He is the one. This was the most underrated part of this chapter, seeing Ripley's reaction, her beliefs being validated right in front of her eyes, and being saved by this legendary figure. It was everything to her. Scopper, her husband, who was with Roger during their voyages around the world, and to Laugh-Tale, witnessed firsthand the truth about the world and the real history of the world government. So he too knows of Joy Boy's tale, and he got to know of Elbaph's prophecy of Nika the sun god after arriving to battle with the dragon, and I'm sure he has told Ripley countless times of all of this. Ripley even told these stories to Colden as a way of disciplining him, so it's nice to see them react to their stories come to life. Then we see a battered Summer trying to say that it's just a myth told to kids, but Loki just snuffs him out with one swift strike. The giants are all shocked to see the dragon Nidhogg in real life. And we see Chopper and Scopper look from afar, as Scopper tells him that this is the first time that he has actually seen Loki in his own form. He then thinks of the time after Harold's death when Jarul and Shanks were at the castle. Jarul is speaking of this treasured fruit of elbaph, the mythical dragon fruit, saying that whoever eats it will be transformed into the most colossal dragon in the world. And not only that, the size of the dragon is relative to the person eating it. So if a regular human eats it, then it will be big, but not as big as compared to a giant with the same fruit. And an ancient giant will bear an even greater size boost. This devil fruit can not only make you a dragon, but it can also make you breathe lightning. So there's that. Evidently, this devil fruit fell into the perfect hands with Loki having the ancient giant's blood. He's gonna max out this devil fruit to its full potential. Shanks thinks that this fruit was protected due to its great power, but not necessarily, says Jarul. He then tells them of Ragnir the squirrel. According to elbaph legend, there was once a god of war who fought with Ragnir the hammer. This war god took the form of a dragon and fought with the sun god Nika. He was accompanied by a loyal partner, the ice squirrel Ratatoskr. And after his master had passed, the loyal squirrel then took possession of the hammer Ragnir. That's the legend anyway. In reality, the hammer Ragnir, which is also the squirrel, stopped guarding the fruit of his former master after Loki ate it 14 years ago. The loyal partner of the war god made his choice, and it chose Loki, who now has the same ability to turn into a dragon that Ragnir's master had. Some fascinating lore, that is. Seeing the sun god Nika fighting with the war god is intriguing. I wonder what made them fight and what kind of relationship they had. I doubt it was anything serious, probably just play fighting. If the current generation's war god and Nika are cordial, then I think the parallel in the past will be the same. In the next page, we see a double spread of Loki's dragon form, roaring as it flies towards the nightmare demons. He charges up his lightning beam and fires it at the general vicinity of the demons, and it just obliterates anything in his path. Thrudheim is what he's calling the attack, as Imu in Gunko's body looks on. In front of Imu lies the remains of his demons, and atop Loki's head are Luffy and Ragnir celebrating his big attack. We see Imu reacting, saying, "So this is it. The Nidhogg? It was an elbaph all along." Implying that Imu had thought this dragon was an elbaph at one point, but didn't after at some point? I don't know. And I know that some people will get mad at the fact that the final villain, the big bad of the series, Imu, who's lived for centuries, seems to not know a lot about the world. But this is at least justifiable in my opinion. I mean, Jarul literally calls the fruit the treasured fruit of elbaph, so it was a well-kept secret. The intention was for no one to find out about this hidden power of elbaph. It would just bring more unwanted attention. But in regards to stuff like knowing Luffy's Joy Boy, or that the guy with the D in his name and stretchy powers like Nika or Joy Boy isn't like them, is very hard to believe. If you really think about it, the way the world government have handled someone like Luffy is an abject failure. And in many ways, it's just plot convenience, isn't it? If Imu had figured out who Luffy was earlier, or if he had gone to the Gomu Gomu fruit, then there would be no story. So it is what it is. But guys, enough of my ramblings. What did you think of the chapter? Did you like it? Did you not? And where is Brook right now? Did Imu off-screen the Soul King? Leave your comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.